Hi, I'm Mimi Chan. Welcome to Culture Chat. Thanks for joining the conversation. Dr. Jwing Ming has written more than 30 books and 50 instructional videos on Chinese martial arts. He has taught thousands of seminars worldwide and was voted by Inside Kung Fu magazine as one of the 10 people who have made the greatest impact on martial arts in the last 100 years. Dr. Yang shares his fascinating story of how he went from barely having enough food to eat in Taiwan to becoming a world-renowned master and mechanical engineer. We discuss the philosophies and benefits of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, as well as the challenges that face traditional Chinese martial arts today. I'm loving these conversations and hope you are too. If you are, please rate my podcast on your platform of choice and share it with others. If you'd like to support this podcast with a donation to help keep it going, I'd appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by visiting my website or patreon.com/sifumimichan. For comments or suggestions, email me at mimi@culturechatpodcast.com or reach out on social media at sifumimichan. Now, on with the show. Well, hello, Dr. Yang. Thank you so much for joining me on Culture Chat today.
Hey, thank you, Mimi. It's good to see you.
Yes, very good to see you. Of course, we have run in the same martial arts circles for many, many years. And of course, my father sends his regards to you. And I'm just so happy to actually talk to you.
Yeah, your father is pioneer. Really good. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I was fortunate enough to be able to talk to you today a lot about, your history and the work that you're doing and you continue to do. I have this wonderful book here in front of me, and I know you're being honored with many awards and Hall of Fame accolades, but I was really excited when I started to kind of look into your background that you are one of 9, because my mom is also one of 9 in her family. And I'm always interested in the dynamic of having so many siblings. What was it like growing up in such a large family?
Well, that's exactly the problem, because I was born in 1946. So there's enough. I'm 74 now. So because at that time when I was born, that was 1 year after the war finished. So because the reason at that time, Chiang Kai-shek's party retreat from mainland China. So at that time, he bring million of people in Taiwan, and Taiwan economy is so bad, and suddenly so many people. At the same time, Chiang Kai-shek tried to tried to counterattack mainland China. So that's mean everybody preparing for a war. See, that's a problem we have 9 children because my father had 2 wives. So at that time, it was common for a lot of families. So that's why my mother's side had 5, and the second wife had 4. So because reason, that's become a big family. And big family during that kind of difficult time is that there's no plenty of food. So that's enough the problem. So that's why a lot of time we grew up during starvations, because not enough food to supply everyone. Okay, so the problem is when I reach about 15, because I developed my ulcer when I was 9 years old. It's not only me, my sister, my brother, they all developed ulcer because didn't have enough food, didn't have, so that's why the stomach got damaged. So we have ulcer.
Yeah, and
so this ulcer, the ulcer from 9 to 15 years old, I always suffer, especially when I eat, I feel pain. If I didn't have food, I feel pain. So because the reason that's when I was 15 years old, fortunately, one of my classmates, he was practicing in the mountain with a Master Zhen. And I didn't know that. And he saw me. He said, one day, he said, hey, you want to, because we are good friends. So he said, do you want to train martial arts? Because at that time, because I was angry all the time, because I was unhappy about the life, especially unhappy about the family, unhappy about everything. When you are 15 years old, you had to face reality, and suddenly you realize, especially when you are 15 years old, you start realize when you're 16 years old, you can be drafted to the war. Yeah, because that's why at that time, 15 years old, even my wife, the woman too, when you're 15, 16 years old, you're learning how to use a rifle, use an M1 rifle to shoot and to get ready for the war. So that kind of thing that hit me. So why I want to study, why I want to go to school. Pretty soon you're going to die anyway, because in China, and Taiwan have a war,
Yeah.
my generation will be completely wiped out. I would say 95% will be wiped out. And why you go to school? So because the reason now so it's not only me, all my generations, everybody. One way they fear, they're scared, and the other way they want to find a way to survive and try to convince themselves they are brave enough to face the death when the time comes. And we're only 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So big reason, under the situation, a lot of my classmates then become a gangster, try to prove how tough they are. And at the same time, I found out the way I had to prepare psychologically, I want to train martial arts. So, but that's why my friend told me, say, you want to learn from Master Jin, I can introduce you. That's why I started practice White Clan when I was 15 years old.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so just a quick question there, because that's so much information and so much, I know you have quite a lot more history to cover, but, you know, I really want to kind of think about you as this young child to a teenager having the burden of knowing, one, that because you're in a large family, you know, did it make you feel like you needed to do more because you felt like a burden to your parents because everybody was, you know, in this situation where you were all having ulcers, not having enough to eat? I mean, that must have weighed very heavily on you to kind of see your parents struggle. Did your siblings also work, and were you kind of required to do more? Because, you know, I'm very fortunate. My generation, we grew up here. When you're a child, your job is to just go to school. But I know that for you and the hardships, just like my father, it wasn't just school. There were so many other things you were responsible for. And I love for listeners to understand that not everyone grows up the same, and what that was really like. So what was it like for you, like at 10 to 15? Like, what were your responsibilities on a daily basis?
Yeah, at that time, we tried to find one way, try to survive. And at the same time, you see the parents are working hard and try to keep the family survive. So at that time, you know, a lot of things, we just went to the fields, for the yam field to steal yam from the farmers, whatever we can get to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a problem because the question is, especially from when I was about 9 years old, when Japanese surrendered in the 1950 and retreat, 1945, my father, he bought a gun from the Japanese soldiers because at that time, from 1945 to 1950s, Taiwan was chaos because there's no too much of a government because Chiang Kai-shek was so busy fighting against communists in mainland China. So that's because the society is become chaotic. So that's why my father got a gun from this Japanese soldier. And then this gun in 1960s, when I was 9 years old, is actually in 1950s. When I was 9 years old at that time, my father was so nervous because the Chiang Kai-shek asked anybody who have a gun, you relate to the communists, you surrender, and they don't charge you. But question, as I know at that time, whoever surrender, they all disappear. I never seen them again. Okay, so my father was so scared that he told his best friend, and his friend report to the government because his friend afraid he got connection that he got trouble too. So because of that reason, my father was put in the prison for military prison for about 10 months. So that 10 months is the worst 10 months for my whole family because suddenly there's no major income. And my mother just tried to make a clothes to survive. So most of the time we can eat one meal a day, you are happy. Most of the time we have a rice soup, that's it, and that's how we develop all ulcers.
I see.
So that's how, that's how we try to survive. At that time, only thing in our mind is just survive.
Survival.
Survival, because, you know, again, the parents my father couldn't take care of us. My mother was busy. The only person take care of us is my grandma. And my grandma was old already. It's not easy.
Of course not. Yeah. And were you very close to any of your siblings? Like, or did you just, did it feel like you were alone? Because it's just obviously such a tumultuous time. How close were you in terms of your family? Or like, did you?
No, actually it's not close because when my father had two wives and the second wife, my mom don't get along. That's why always fight. The kids always fight. See, that's a problem. So that's why a lot of time I didn't want to go home. Every time you go home, you know, you just feel sad, you know, feel that frustration. And that's why, you know, I keep questioning myself, why I want to be alive. Why I want to be here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not until when I was 15, I started learning martial arts. Then my master is funny. Is that, my first master is White Korean master.
Mm-hmm.
He was not educated. He couldn't read. He couldn't write.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because the reason he's only purely farmer, very, very simple farmer.
Mm-hmm.
But question, when I was 15, he influenced my life. So my 15 years old at that time, it's actually Taiwan is 16 years old. My life changed completely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was that like,
So,
finally meeting somebody that was a positive influence? They gave you a lot of
yeah.
hope, perhaps?
Yeah, it's because at that time I don't know who I can trust
Yes.
and who I believe. Yeah, because especially you're so nervous to get ready for the war.
Mm-hmm.
But my master will explain about life, about the nature. So that's why when I start learning from him, and amazing, I feel more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of time after class, because class over about 3:20. When I didn't have homework, I prefer go to the mountain because. There are 3 mountains together.
Okay.
The middle mountain, my high school in one of the mountain, my master on the other side of a mountain. So I had to travel from one side to the other side. And when I got there, I feel peaceful. I don't care if my master had time or not. No, I just want to stay there because there's a steps or the bridge go to the monastery. And my master home is there. I just like to go there and I can see my master working and I can play my flute. And from there, I feel peaceful. From there, I start learn to be peaceful. So that things make me feel comfort. And from there, I start learn how to understand. I want to know what's the meaning of my life.
Yeah.
Okay, one big thing. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, it sounds like there was a lot of traveling, and in people's minds nowadays, they're like, oh, you just get in your car and go from one side to the other. But what did you have to do to get from one side to the mountain? What was that like?
No, because I have a bicycle from my home to the bicycle. And there are only small passes, walking paths. You cannot ride bicycle in the mountain with small paths. Yeah. So you have to push the bicycle from one side of the mountain to the other side. So that's just how it is. And people don't understand. For example, I would say probably 10 years, about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I took my students, 6 of my students, and from my home to walk to my master's home. Yes. Okay, I told them this is the path I always run. After I go to my master's home, I have to run 40 minutes. And today, let's walk there. And we walk up there, and all of them tell me, because at that time it already changed. At that time, monastery already big, and the road is already open. And then there's a taxi. And then he say, can we hire a taxi, go down? I said, what? I run every day, run up and run down to learn 14 minutes. So that's why today's generation is, I'll call them greenhouse generation. Yeah, because they grow up in greenhouse and then it's not easy for them to suffer.
Yes, and I think that's actually such an important part as a martial arts journey, is to understand your humble roots and beginning, and to go back to where it began, to see it, to walk and literally walk the path. I think that would actually be really exciting.
Yeah, because to me, I miss those there's a path. So I want to take students to walk and then they can talk. Yeah, because on the way there, you pass a graveyard. That's a huge graveyard. Before it was even bigger, but today, because a lot of the grave have been taken out and then burned it. So at that time, when we pass there, it's very scary because of graveyard. But especially when you come back, when there's raining. Yeah. When the raining is, have you seen the ghost fire? Because body have a phosphor. So when the phosphor touch the water, and then you can see in the tomb you can see the purple color. Boom!
Wow!
Boom, boom. Wow! Especially at nighttime, we see that you're so scared. You run.
Yeah, that's like a movie, but not a movie.
but never discouraged me. So that's why when we come back, we always like to get together, coming down together. But when you run there, usually it's daytime, it's no problem. So.
Well, it's definitely less scary in the day going by a graveyard.
Yeah, so that's what happened when I was 15.
That's amazing.
So when I was 15, I already have an serious ulcer problem. Okay, so one day I was practicing, and the ulcer episodes begin, and then I was in pain. So I squat down in the corner because I have a cold sweat. So at that time, my master took a look. He said, because my face looked pale and the whole sweat and cold sweat, he come to check my pulse. He said, you had some problem for your internal organ, your stomach. I say, yes, I've been there since I was 9 years old. Then he told me one thing. He said, I think people say the practice Tai Chi Chuan can help you to heal your internal organ.
Yeah.
You know what that means? Because maybe you are Chinese, you know, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese community at that time in the 60s, you learn from one master, you cannot learn from the other master. It's considered betrayal because everything is a secret, everything protect a secret. But when he said that, that means he encouraged me to find a Tai Chi master. See, that's why when I was 16 years old, when I started looking for the Tai Chi master because my ulcer problem. It's not because I like Tai Chi. I tell the truth, I didn't like Tai Chi at that time.
Well, 16 years old, it's a little slower for the 16 years old.
I like to run, to jump, whatever. But questions for my stomach problem, that's why I find the high school teacher. Okay. He's an English teacher and also he's a soccer coach.
Oh, okay.
So he's teaching Tai Chi Chuan early morning, 6 o'clock in this school. So that's why I go there to beg him to take me as a student. So includes me, we are only 6 students he had at that time. Okay, it's an amazing part is that once I learned Tai Chi for 6 months, then the episodes started release. I don't come to the stomach pain all the time. Yeah, they become once a while. Because the first thing we teach is deep breathing. With deep breathing, with the abdominal movements, and at the same time move the lower back, the spine, gentle move. Because this part in Tai Chi is very crucial. Yes. Because the waist area, you have to be loose. It cannot be tense. So because there's a kind of exercise, and I found out my stomach also stopped healing itself. Wow. Then after a couple of years, then it's completely gone. Yeah. So that was amazing to me.
Amazing. Yeah. And how often, though, did you have to do your training and practice? Because people are hearing this and thinking, oh, I could just do Tai Chi once a week and I'll be healed. But it's a very dedicated time and practice that you put into it and very serious training. So I want to know how often, what was that regimen like?
It's not the same. Okay, let me explain to you. Yeah. I was with my White Crane master for 13 years until I was 27 when I came to the United States for my PhD. And then when I was 16, and I practiced with a Master Gao. Okay, because when I was 18, I had to go because I entered a college. So I had to leave my hometown. So that's why I was with the Master Gao for 2.5 years. So, during those 2.5 years, what happened? 3:30, I get out of school. When I got home, I try to finish homework as much as you can, as soon as you can. When I was 6 o'clock, immediately I run. From there, I run to my master home. Usually they are about 7 o'clock. When it's 7 o'clock, and then my classmates come one by one, and then we start training. Usually I train 2 hours. 9 o'clock in the evening, we went home. At that time, I tell you, the summertime, Taiwan is hot. Mosquitoes are everywhere. Oh. Yeah, so when you train, you can see.
Yeah, we're in Florida. It's probably about the same as I feel that.
It's so hot and humid. And when you train, body sweat and mosquito come to attack you. They attack so you have to keep moving. Yes. So the time, so that's then after we train 9 now I call my master want to retire. So you want to say, okay, that's how we left. When I left, and I walked down with my classmates. When I got home, it's almost 10 o'clock. But after 10 o'clock, your body sweat and the smell. At that time, there's no gas. Okay, there's no electricity, electric oven, whatever. So I had to start the wood fire, to cook the pot of hot water. And the hot water, you mix the cold water. That's why you take a shower, whatever, you wash your body. Yeah. So when I finish it, it's already almost 1 o'clock.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, because when I go home, usually I practice another half an hour. I didn't want to forget what I learned today. Yes. So I always practice, and then second day I be ready for an hour. It's every day, include Sunday. Okay, that's for 2.5 years. So after go to bed, it's about 1 o'clock. Yeah. And then 5 o'clock, 5:30, I get up. With my bicycle, go to high school to learn Tai Chi Chuan. Look, every day when I was young, I have only 5-6 hours of sleeping a day. Okay, that's another problem. When I went to the school, I was so tired. So usually I put a book in front of me. I fell asleep. Yeah, so my my school teacher, one of my school teacher, he is very good. He used a chalk. At that time, he used white chalk because when I fall asleep, he can get the chalk aiming to my head exactly. All the time, I say, "Gosh, he'll be a good basketball player."
Yeah, very accurate, or a dart player,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So at that time, my people give me a nickname called sleeping worm, called 睡虫, sleeping worm. So that's how I did, and for 2.5 years until I went to Taipei.
Wow.
So when I went to Taipei, I started learning from my third master, is a Master Li for the long fish.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Wonderful.
See, that's why today's people never understand. Yeah.
I know. That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because, as a martial arts practitioner who also has students, and you have students, they always come to the school and ask, well, how long until I finish?
Yeah.
When do I finish?
The common question is, when can I be a Jedi, right?
Or yes, when can I be a Jedi master, right? And then you say, soon. But yeah, I think people underestimate that journey of healing and what it really takes, but that your body can heal itself with chuan and exercise and proper eating. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about the breathing, because I feel like that's something people are starting to learn more about now through meditation and Tai Chi and yoga, and understanding how important breathing is. Whereas you've been saying it for years, right? You've been trying to tell me for so many years how breathing is so important. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, because I know that it's, of course, part of what you teach, and you've written so many books. And I'd love to hear your explanation to someone on why breathing is so important and how it healed you.
Yeah, tell the truth is that the Tai Chi can be so beneficial for health. That's because Tai Chi is slow, deep breathing. Okay, let's try to see. The body, 96% of body structure includes hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. That's the 96%. The other 4% is other mineral like calcium, those things. Okay, so that means without oxygen, the body cannot have a metabolism. Mm-hmm. But so that without metabolism, that's the body cannot convert the food into into the energy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we cannot convert it. That's when the body, of course, if the people breathe shallow, usually they get tired easily. If the people breathe deep, usually you can see. Okay, but question, we see the structure of the body, right? Structure of the body. If you look at the hands, you can see the blue color, the vessel. Mm-hmm. The vessel is vein. Yep. This vein is inside have a carbon dioxide. Okay, and this vein is not artery. Where's the artery? Artery comes from the heart, and the vein go back to the heart. Okay, so people have to understand that. The reason for that is because the pump from the heart, that one is so strong. So that's when we cut artery, that's a big problem because the blood cannot be stopped easily. Right. If we cut the vein, no problem. So because reason you can see, where's the vein? Vein usually high, very deep inside near the bones. So from here you can see how the body cell replace. Because everybody, every day, there are 1 trillion cell die. 1 trillion cell. The 1 trillion cell die because the body cell have a lifetime. For example, skin cell is only 28 days. And because the reason, that's why a different part of the body has different lifetime. So that means this cell replacement is called metabolism in the body. But during this process, you need plenty of oxygen. You don't have plenty of oxygen, then oxygen run out very fast. For example, then from the artery, then they start to distribute the oxygen to the surface skin. Before the oxygen, before the circulation cell replacement go to the skin surface, the oxygen already run out. Mm-hmm. So what happened? So that's end up the body cannot be tense. When the body relax, this circulation will be smooth. The oxygen can reach the surface of the skin. That's why those people deep breathing, they meditate, practice Tai Chi, they look younger. They look younger because the skin cell can be replaced. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because skin cell is every 28 days, skin cell die. Right. So the skin cell have to be replaced. So that's why usually people practice Tai Chi Chuan or deep breathing, you can see they look younger. It's not just because they're relaxing. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the first thing you understand. The second thing, the lung, because we're talking about lung, that's a big subject. Okay, so lung in my Qigong seminar, usually I spend a lot of time. You look at the lung is sandwiched between the front side and back side of the ribs.
Yes.
Okay, we never use 100% of the lungs. Usually, you look at the website, you see that normally we use about 62% of the lung. But those are athletes. If they exercise a lot, they use a lot, and they can go up to 80%. But nobody ever go to 100%. Normal people, 60%. That means we never use 100% of the lung. That means which part of the lung we use more often. See, that's a question, because it's very important, because I use this kind of understanding theory to cure people who have lung cancer. Yeah, because it's very simple exercise. Question is, this is a breathing pipe in front. So this is a breathing pipe in front, it comes here, this is the lung. So which part of the lung we use more often? They've already been activated, the front side. So front side, that's why you can see people after they finish running, you can see the shoulder forward and body curve forward. And that's because this side already activated. So the lung cell already can be used to change. So that's why people use it. So the question is now, that means the back side of the lung, we don't use too much. The side of the lung, we don't use too much. Okay, because the reason you can see lung just like a balloon. And the outside of the lung is the muscles. So when these muscles get tightened, then the lung compress. That's why you cannot take in the air. So that's why the reason is very important for different posture. For example, Tai Chi Chuan, or even Shaolin, or even anything. Yeah, so different part of the hands posture, the different part of the lung has been focusing. So lots of people with the deep breathing, with the different body structure, especially torso, those are people usually different part of the lung be activated, and the lung have a higher capacity. Okay, so that's for example, when people, the energy trap here, for example, asthma. People have asthma because this breathing pipe, the energy is too young, called excess. So when they're too young, the nerves become active. So that's why the energy is traveling from. That's why you can see people have asthma. Usually you can see they squat forward, and because energy trap here. Especially today's young kids.
Yeah,
they play the game. Yeah. So see the shoulder always forward like that. So that's end up today. A lot of young people have asthma. Okay, so I use this one to help a lot of people. They have asthma. It's very simple. You just shift the energy to the back. And how we do it? Now you can see commonly we do that. You see that when you have a heartbeat faster, or a huge energy trap here, then they hold your breath. What the doctor said, say deep breathe. All right, so when you get deep breath, what you do? You put the shoulder, you inhale, and then exhale. See, when you do that, what you do? You activate the lung cell on the back. So that's why the energy shift from front side to back side. So that's why the front side cooling down. This is a very crucial key of heal asthma. People have asthma. Okay, at the same time, they help people have a heart problem. So because the heart actually energy trap in the front and make your heart too much of an excess young.
Right.
So the same thing, you see, if I want to activate my lung on this side, I raise up my right hand, and the lung will be focused on this side, because lung is a balloon, remember. With the hands postures, then the different part of the lung will be activated. So because reason, that's become very important part of Tai Chi Chuan and the Qigong. Can you do the forms? When you do the form with deep breathing, a different form and different part of the lung activated. See, that's a crucial key.
Yeah.
So because the reason you have plenty of oxygen, then the body metabolism will be smooth and you'll be healthy. So from there, and then you have to come to the deep for the practice called abdominal breathing. And from abdominal breathing, you have to know how to deal with it, because that's another big subject. So if people are interested, get my book.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, for listeners, there's a lot of detail in the books. And of course, Dr. Yang breaks it down very scientifically. And I was, before I talk about that, because I wanted to talk about kind of your relationship with your analytical side, being able to translate to your martial side from your engineering background. But I do want to kind of address that a lot of beginner practitioners are really impatient, in which they want to see results right away, you know, and for someone to say, well, how long is it going to take me to improve? And we always tell them, of course, you need to practice more, and the more you do, the better you get. But I think a lot of people underestimate that. Even though I memorized the move, like, so I learned the first 3 moves, I already know it, I remember it, but they don't understand that they're not getting the balancing, they're not getting the breathing, they're not doing the eye line. There's like so many facets of going deep into each movement, and that it's very hard to, I guess, explain that to beginner practitioners, right? That even though you think you can do the moves, it doesn't mean you know it. And so how do you kind of explain that to beginners so that they can understand that it's a longer journey?
Well, because they don't understand what the meaning of Kung Fu. Okay, Kung Fu, Gong, it means it take a lot of energy and time to learn anything called Kung Fu. Kung Fu, it doesn't mean martial arts. Martial arts is a Kung Fu. Kung Fu is not necessarily martial arts. You can learn piano, you can learn painting, you can achieve your PhD, whatever. As long as you spend time and energy to put into it, it's called Kung Fu. That means time consuming. Okay, but it's not that simple. For example, I have a lung cancer patient. Okay, lung cancer patient, he was 60 already. So at that time, the lung cancer keeps spreading, and doctor gave him 6 weeks to live. And he was so scared, and he came to with his wife. So that's why I asked him to do the breathing, try to shift the energy, because the lung cancer, I believe, is on the left side on the back. So that's why he had to put the hand up, right hand up, and to try to push air there, because he had to, because the way to cure the cancer is compound called circulation. You have a circulation, there's no stagnation. If there's no stagnation, the cancer cell can be removed. That's from Chinese medical theory. So because reason, he should put that one and continue deep breathing to energize the energy there. After they relax, energy relax. Okay, I told him probably take 6 months to see the result. Eventually, after 3 months, he already see the result, and he was so excited. You know, one day he come to my office, say, "Hey, Dr. Yang, where are you?" I say, "In my office." He said, "I just come back from the hospital." So when I look at him, so excited, I know it's good news, because doctor gave him 6 weeks to live, and he already lived three months. So he said, "Doctor, check it." He says, "The lung cancer cell is not spreading; it's actually shrink down to 25%."
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why it takes time. Everything, the body takes time to develop. The most important part of martial arts, for example, martial arts is used for defense. But the defense, you cannot say, okay, I learned the form, I can apply it immediately, impossible. Yeah, so you have to keep practicing until your body have a reflexes. And these reflexes is without thinking, because in the battle, you don't have time to think. You have to react without thinking.
Exactly.
So that's a subconsciously, that's come from called repetition. So that's come from the reason of competition. Repetition is a way of a training. But today's kids, they don't understand. After they finish the one form, okay, what next?
We have the same problem. I understand.
Yeah, because Chinese martial arts, before we know, my master always say, it takes 10% of learning, 90% of training.
Yes.
So, but today is 90% of learning and 10% training. So that's why it won't work.
Yes.
Yeah, it won't work. Yeah. So they end up now, there's all the sandas, they develop only few technique, and like a Thai boxing, and they just keep practicing for those techniques. Yeah. So again, I just feel sorry for Chinese martial arts. It's not like a traditional way.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on that, because as one traditional artist to another, it feels like we are the minority, right? In terms of the different practitioners that are out there. A lot of people would prefer to learn a little bit of everything versus taking that lifelong journey. I mean, where do you see traditional Chinese martial arts headed for the future?
Everything from shallow to deep. If you learn everything from here and there and there and there, it's almost like a Chinese dim sum. In dim sum, you try to sample this, sample that, sample that. You never get the deep. When you get the deep feeling, you have to have the main course. So because reason everybody say, okay, see, I know 20 style, and everything you learn on the surface. They never reach it deep. You almost like you learn piano. You know 20 songs. Everything you play, 20 songs. You always stay in shallow. You want to get deep, get deep. When one get deep, other will follow because it developed the feeling. It's not the forms. And people don't understand. Say, oh, okay, I learned the form, I can fight. No, you are not a Jedi yet. You have to conquer yourself. Remember the Star Wars? What remember the Skywalker asked Yoda, say, where can I be a Jedi? What did Yoda say? Say you have to face Darth Vader. Remember the sentence? So that's why he was dreaming in the cave. He fighting against the Darth Vader, and once he killed him, he take a mask off. What he see? Himself. So you are the Darth Vader. So that means that the meaning of that episode is very deep, because that means you have to conquer yourself. But today's people, they don't conquer themselves. After they finish learning, I always say, okay, I'm a Jedi. So, so I say, okay, people want to challenge him, say, okay, sit there, let me show the form for you. They cannot. See, I traveled 28 countries from 1986 until year 2000. So for those that are trying to travel 28 countries, and often I got a challenge. But you cannot say, okay, go to the challenge. You have to accept it. You have to find a way to deal with it instead of say. But today, you don't have that much kind of challenge anymore. But in 1960 years, 1980s, yes, because now people are more peaceful now. So, but again, unfortunately, a lot of movies, they emphasize you can achieve Kung Fu just like that.
Right.
For example, Kung Fu Panda. How long this hand panda become the Superman? Today kids, that's what they think. They think, oh, I learned, I can fly like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Okay, all those things. It's a fantasies. So it's all imagination. So it's not reality. So that's why I don't like today's movie. The martial art movie is not the same as 1960s, 70s. Because 1960s, 70s movie is more reality.
For example, what's one of the movies that you enjoy the philosophy of?
For example, before I like to watch the Kung Fu series in the TV, because that one is not, in martial art fighting in the movie, it was terrible. Okay, I honestly, my Dave Carling is terrible. Yes. But question is, if every show, they talk about morality side. Right. Because you see, Kung Fu training, because remember, Kung Fu come from monastery, most of them. The Shaolin, external style, internal style from Wudan Mountain. But the monks, they are not training martial art to kill people. Right. So that's why most of Chinese martial art is defensive, it's not offensive. But in Chinese martial art, only one style is offensive. Which style? Xing Yi Quan. Because Xing Yi Quan was created martial UFA at that time against Mongolian. So that's why it's a military style. So everything's forward. But all other style created in monastery is for defensive. So what the monk, they train martial arts. That's a question. Because the monk, they're supposed to cultivate their spirit. Yeah. They don't understand. Because you have to conquer yourself. When you conquer yourself, you want to develop called alertness, awareness. You have alertness, awareness, then you can understand, you can feel the life much deeper than other people. Because you have alertness, awareness. You look at today, all the rich people, all the people, they lead other people. It's simply because they are spirit. They have a higher alertness, awareness. So that's why they become pioneer for the society. So that's exactly, you conquer yourself through this kind of conquering. And because I couldn't deny, in order to make your spirit grow, you have to torture yourself. Okay, yeah. But in Chinese martial art, it's well known. My master always tell me, say one sentence, he say, you want to climb mountain, you choose a high mountain to climb. Yes. Okay, you want to carry load, carry heavy load. Because in this case, you challenge yourself. Every time you challenge yourself, you accomplish it. Then that's why your spirit continue to evolve. But those people today in the greenhouse, oh yeah, oh no, they cannot go anywhere. That's today's mentality, because everything is a McDonald's culture. Everything McDonald's. It can be quick. Yes. It's not as simple. Yeah. That's a problem today. So that's why traditional arts dying down. Classical music and the traditional martial arts dying down. Everything is a surface. Everything is acrobatic. Everything is a beauty. It look nice, but is useless. That's why I feel sad. That's why I start writing the book and try to tell people. I hope from my book I can brainwash people to go back to the tradition.
Well, that's definitely one aspect. And I think it's a really great contribution that you've done is to take the time to do so many books. I mean, you've done so many different series, and I think it's very dedicated. And I think that's definitely one way. And I think even having conversations like this and being able to share with people so they understand what, you know, the tradition is really about, because even when people come to our school, they think they want traditional, right? Until they get there and they have to be in a horse stance for 15 minutes and they're like, what's next? I'm like, no, you sit here for a while. I'll be back. No. But it's a hard cultural clash, right? For us to try to educate, but of course, as educators, that's our job, right? Is to try to educate them and let them see the benefit. And so we just keep doing the best we can. But I wanted to know a little bit about your engineering background, because I think it's quite remarkable that you grew up in a place where you barely had enough to eat and you end up going to Purdue University and becoming an engineer. I mean, that's quite a jump from not being able to have dinner, right? And a child that was basically fighting for survival. So what was that experience like, and what propelled you, and how did that work out?
Okay, let's start from the beginning, okay? I didn't like school, honestly. I hate school. I like to play around. I like to play martial arts. Okay, so when I was 15, every day I practiced martial arts. When I go to school, I fall asleep. But in my class, we have 72 graduates in my class. I was the only one enter the college.
Wow.
And the people say, why? That's because I tell you, when I was 16 years old, after I learned 1 year, I asked my white clay master to say, how can I make my Kung Fu better? He said, you have to conquer yourself. You can conquer yourself, you can conquer the world. Because you is your biggest enemy. If you cannot conquer that, you can. I say, what should I conquer? He said, first one, can you be endure? Do you have endurance? Do you have a patience? Okay, that's the first thing. I say, how do I train my patience? You think it is a little bit, say, I heard fishing can train your patience. Oh, wow, fishing. I love fishing. So that's okay. Okay, I go fishing. So I was 16 years old at that time, that summer, because Taiwan summer have a 2 months or 2.5 months of summer vacation. So I go to my home, and because the bamboo is everywhere, I use a knife to cut the bamboo and find the thread and use the pin head, the cross pin, whatever, and make a hook. Okay. And then that's it. I go fishing. So from there, I take my bicycle every day there. In the morning, I go there around 9 o'clock. I set up and go. I have to sit there to fish until 5 o'clock. Because in the evening, I go to practice martial arts. So I have to finish at 5 o'clock. So I go there fishing. It's not easy. Because especially I didn't have a good tools. Right. So after 2 weeks, I got the only tiny fish there. I want to quit because whole day sitting there, I lose patience. I question, and at that time I swear, if I quit, I would jump inside and kill myself. Because that's how I set up. When I set up the rules, I cannot cross the line. So I force myself to sit there. Yeah, that's a self-conquering. So once I sit there, conquer myself, and then pretty soon you find out it's not fishing anymore. You start learning to meditate. You think. When you think, and from the fishing, you have to watch the float. On the float, because there's a way to fish, because you learn to focus. When you get focused, your mind is calm. I can analyze myself. I start trying to analyze my past, my life, and my future. So from there, 2.5 months after finishing, my mom looked at me and said, what happened to you? You feel so different from 2-3 months ago. Then since then, I learned to be patient. Okay, but the question, that's why when the last half a year before the entrance examination, because in Taiwan, in my generation, we have 12,000 people graduate, but only allowed 3,000 go to the college. So that's me you had to kill 9 9,000 people.
Right. Very competitive.
Yeah. So that's why I was lucky because I spent half a year and focusing to study. Then I was the only one enter the college because I come from gangster high school. Everybody there gangster, play gangster game. So when I get to college, I was chosen because it's not I select. I was chosen to learn physics. But I hate physics because physics you have to sit there and you have to. I hate physics. But question, my master said one thing: if something you like, you cannot conquer yourself. You have to do something you don't like. That's why you can conquer yourself. When I think of that sentence, I say, okay, because physics I hate it, I have to finish it. The more I can conquer myself to finish it, the more I'm stronger. So that's why I hang in there. And after 4 years, I become interested in the physics. So I enter the graduate school for my master's degree in Taiwan universities. After that, I become a tutor of the college. I become a professor. So from there, that's why I got a scholarship from Purdue University. So that's why I went to Purdue.
Oh, okay.
I went to Purdue, because at that time I say I want to get my PhD. I want to get PhD. It's not because I like a PhD, and not because I like physics. That's because I need to conquer myself. The highest I can go is PhD. So, but one day when I got that day, 1978, when I got PhD, that day I was so sad. And my wife didn't understand. I was supposed to be very happy. Yeah, but I had my first son born only a few months, and then my wife didn't understand because my whole life set up a goal. This goal to get PhD, to conquer myself. The once I reach there, I find out everything's empty. So when they're empty, then that's why you don't know what to follow. That's why I have to refine my strategy about the future. Okay, and after I graduated, I couldn't find a job because I didn't have a permanent residence. Especially my specialty is the laser technology.
Oh.
At that time, laser technology is related to military. So because reason I was not an American citizen, I cannot allow to go in.
Right.
Okay, so end up, I keep looking for a job. I become engineer for 6 years. Work for analog devices, work for Texas Instrument. Use a heat transfer instead of laser to get a job. I hate American job, I tell you the truth. So many engineers in America, I feel sorry for them. Because the question is, in the morning they get up, they drive for long traffic. After long traffic, they work there like a slave. And then when they drive home, they are so tired. I have many friends, they are engineers. Nowadays I meet them, they've been forced layoff when they are 60s. They're forced layoff because company, they use your salary to hire 2 new people.
Yes.
2.5 new people. So force you lay off. And I asked them, so, okay, you work engineer for 30 years. Okay, what you feel? What you gain? After the thing, always say, gosh, I got no life. Because their whole life is just work, sleep, and the weekend numb themselves. They don't even have time to feel the life, to feel themselves with the nature. See, that's why after 6 years, I quit. Because at that time, remember, engineer to Chinese is called golden ball. 金饭碗, golden ball. Okay. So that means you're secure for the life. But I was so unhappy because I like wild, I don't like to sit in the office. And then when I started 1983, I started develop ulcer. And develop ulcer coming back, and not only that, the kidney stone. Oh. So, so that's why I experienced kidney stone are terrible. It's very painful. Yeah. So, because at that time, they had no ultrasound. Okay. But question is, from there, I wake up. When I woke up, I quit. 1984, January 2nd, I quit. After I quit, it's so difficult because suddenly you don't have insurance, health insurance, and you don't have income. And my wife was upset because we had 3 kids and we had mortgage. So that's why the first year was very tough. I learned to publish a book by myself. I established a YMA publication at that time. So from there, slowly survived. Then until now. But I tell you, since I quit my engineering job, I've been so happy.
What's actually really remarkable about, everything you just shared is one of the concepts that I really like to try to teach the students, which is that, Kung Fu, what you said, Kung Fu, it's not just the martial art part. It's like, how do you apply that to your daily life? And for me, listening to your story, it just sounds like everything you were doing was practicing your Kung Fu, right? It was practicing making sure you finished school, making sure you did your fishing, making sure you went to college, getting through the tests. Like, you were able to take your martial study and then apply that to propel you to do other things. And I think that is, especially at such a young age, there was a connection for you to do that. I think one, it's probably you had a very good sifu, but two, it's something that you really grasped early on, and that's obviously led you to all the amazing things that you've done today.
Yeah, see that because my wife, one day he told me, he say, little young, because I was little when I was 16. He said, you are not learning Kung Fu from me. I said, what? He said, no, you're learning the way of life. Because when you learn Kung Fu, you have to apply it to your life. So that's for example, patience, endurance, perseverance, all these things you learn from Kung Fu, you apply to your life. So that's why it can benefit you. Amazingly, remember, he was not educated. But you understand meaning of life is so deep.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So because the reason that I tell you, he takes more than, I respect him more than my father, tell the truth. Okay.
Well,
so,
the sifu is like your father, especially, in the olden days, that relationship is very, very close. So it seems like he taught you such a great deal.
Yeah, and then and the few things he taught me. You see, my white grandmaster really is more important than the other two because I stayed with him longest time, and especially when I was a teenage. Okay, so one day when I approached him, and I thought, because I compared with another of my classmates, he was there 2 years. I was there only about 1 year. Then I can do something better than him. Then I was come to see him. I hope he can give me a compliment and say, okay, you did a good job, something like that. So I was proud of myself. So when I told him that, he said, hey, he didn't give me a compliment. He didn't say anything. He just said, hey, little young, you look the bamboo? I say, yeah. You see, the taller they grow, the lower they bow. Oh, that hit me so hard. But since then, I keep going. Yeah. Whenever I feel I accomplished something, I bend. I don't keep it straight. I bend. When I bend, every time I bend, I can start again. That's why the West say, keep your cup empty. So I learned to empty my cup and start from the beginning. I continue to do that. That's why people say, Dr. Yang, how can you write more than 40 books? And I wouldn't say 100% of book, but most of book is very, very valuable. A lot of those things. I say, how can you write so many books and so many DVD? I say, without that self-conquering, I would never done that.
Yeah.
Because it's a discipline. Yeah. So that's why I believe anyone, when anyone's successful, I told my students, you are successful, it's not because how smart you are. Smart people, usually they don't have patience. Yeah. But question, the smart and the wise is different things. I tell them, smart, yes, you can pick up things very fast. The smart, you always remember a mistake, and that's why you learn from experience. So the wise people, they can learn from experience, and the smart people, no, they usually quit earliest. So usually the students, they come very fast, they learn very fast. Usually they quit first. I tell you the truth. Yeah. So because I was stupid, that's why I learned slow. When I learned slow, that's why I know I was stupid. So that's why I have to spend more time with other people. So that's why I tell students the way of success is not how smart you are. It's a discipline. If you have those discipline, you conquer yourself. Yeah, that's why my master always say, in this society, you have to be round outside, round outside like a ball, but inside you have to be square. Yeah, 外圆内方. Yeah, so I said, what do you mean? He said, no, outside you are not round, you cannot get along with other people in this society. The whole society is a big ball. Inside we are all small balls. But if you are square, pretty soon you'll be grind into the ball. They keep rotating. Otherwise, you'll be kicked out of the ball. So that's mean you cannot fit in society. So outside, you have to be round. But inside, you have to be square. I say, Yeah, because without square inside, you don't have discipline, you don't have principle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's mean that you never get anything done, because that's unfortunately today people don't like that.
Yeah.
Because when you want to make yourself square, you have to conquer yourself.
Well, I do appreciate you sharing all of that philosophy with me. It's been really, really interesting and also enlightening. But I was curious, when you were a professor, did you throw chalk at any of your students? Just kidding.
Well, tell the truth, I did a couple times. Because I was only 25. I was the youngest teacher, youngest professor in Taiwan.
That's what my teacher did to me. They threw chalk when I was sleeping.
Yeah. So when I was teaching physics, I have 102 people in one class.
Wow.
It's a huge classroom because it's two department students that combine together become one class because they have to save the money. So when I explain and when I see students fall asleep, I use chalk to solve them. Couple times after that, I say, well, that's their choice. Their choice, because I cannot force them to learn.
Right? You can't force people.
So after that, I quit doing that. So I don't care. So they want to learn. So the same thing today. If people they are ready to learn, I teach them. If people are not ready, I don't want to convince them.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
no.
You have to be ready. Yeah.
Absolutely. And humility and having your cup empty and coming with a willingness to learn is a big part of it, and a daily struggle in trying to find students that are that open. But it sounds in a lot of ways you feel like your martial arts, your kung fu, your tai chi for sure saved your life, but in other ways other than just the ulcer and your physical health, it sounds like it really saved your life from maybe even being involved in the gangs, or maybe even just not finishing school. Your path would have been so different had you not done martial arts, right?
Exactly. Today I am what I am today. It's because martial arts training. That's why I say when I was 16 years old, 15 years old, that's the year that changed my life. It's really changed my life. Yeah. And the other one made me wake up is I was engineering. And 1984 is another turning point. I wake up, I quit my engineering, and then continue to contribute my time in martial arts.
Yeah, we're so grateful for that, because we've got over the last so many years we've had so many books and so many publications. What do you enjoy so much about the writing process, and why do you continue to write? I have your most recent book here, which is your push hand book, and it's very technical as well as philosophical. But
Mimi, this is a reality. Okay, in 1974 when I came to the United States, Bruce Lee just passed away not too long before that. So everyone here, as long as you're Chinese, a little bit martial arts, right away you are the master. So that's why so many Chinese, they are teaching martial arts. I spend money, but that time you spend $1 in order to observe the class. And then $1 in 1974, that's a big money to me. So it's a 40 NT, 40 Taiwan's money. And see, when I was in Purdue, I sent my mother $50 a month. And my mother, $50 a month was enough to feed the whole family for 1 month. That's how strong the money at that time.
Right.
Okay, so after I watched them, I said, well, they are not that good, but they are all called master. They are teaching. Okay, so but same time, then I went to Purdue. I started teaching Tai Chi Chuan second year, but as a credit course. When I found a club there. Okay, that time I started thinking about how can I find that master he can continue teaching me. Then I realized it's not easy. The question is, when I came to the United States, I realized I couldn't find a master here. Okay, so when I was teaching Tai Chi Chuan for Purdue, the department called theater department, because they're teaching them performance, and they want me to teach Tai Chi Chuan as a credit course. So at that time, I say I learned Tai Chi only 2.5 years with Master Gao. Then I left to Taipei already. So I said, well, in order to teach college kids, I better give them theory. It's not just forms. So that's why I start digging the theory. So from the theory, I try to interpret the theory from my Chinglish. And the end up it's not easy. But at the same time, every time I interpret it from ancient documents, and then I was able to understand Tai Chi better. So because the reason, that's why it gave me motivation. Every time I write, I learn. So the writing motivation is not just to share people. It's actually, I will teach myself, because every book you see in my book, a lot of quotation come from ancient documents.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I want to write a book, I have to collect information, understand them. After understanding them, I have to compile them. After compile them, I have to write the way people can understand. After go through this process, I understand. Okay, that's one motivation. The other motivation of my writing is 1979. 1978, my master passed away. My white grade master passed away. In 1978, my first son was born. My mother came to visit me. Because my master couldn't write, couldn't read, so every information about my master come from my family. So my mother told me, say, you know, your master passed away 2 years ago in 1978, because he passed away in 1976. I was so shocked. He said, what? How come you didn't tell me?
Yeah.
My mother asked me one question. What will you do if I told you? I couldn't answer, because she knows if I know my master passed away, I will quit my school. I go home for his funeral. My mother saw that. My mother said, that's why I couldn't tell you, because to me, your school is more important than your master's funeral. So in 1979, I got a vacation. When I got vacation, at that time, I got my permanent residence. That's the first thing I went home to visit my master's tomb.
Yeah.
And his two sons with me in front of the tomb in hot summer. I sit there for 2 hours. I was so sad, because I was hoping to go back to continue to learn with him. Because I didn't even finish half of what he knows.
Yeah.
None of my classmates, because he was with his master for 23 years. They lived together for 23 years. So the way that he learned, he understands so deep. So I couldn't. So that's why right in front of the tomb, I swear to the Buddha, I swear to heaven, everything I learned from him, I would never let it die. See, after that, I make a vow to myself. So when I come back to the United States, that's why I start writing heavily in 1979. So that from there, because two things. One is that through the promise to my master. The other way, through the writing, I find out I can learn from writing. So that's why since then I keep writing. Every book I finish it, I learn quite a lot, because the theory is important. But unfortunately, a lot of people today, they don't want to know theory. They just say, okay, show me. They don't want to know why. But but as a scientist, that's why I say, even I didn't like physics, I learned one thing. You want to learn some subject, or some topic, you have to know, what is that? Okay, why is that? How is that? You have to know those three things. But today, people, they don't know. They don't know what, because they don't know deep enough. They don't want to know why. They just want to say how. See, that's a problem. So that today's art is shallow. It's very shallow. Yeah, honestly. But you cannot. Today is very hard to find the good students. That's the truth. Yes. Very hard to find the good students.
Yes. Well, we will continue to be in the pursuit, though. Well,
yeah.
and Dr. Young, I just want to, first of all, thank you for taking time to talk to me today, but also sharing all of your knowledge over the years and continuously putting out the information and writing the books and teaching and putting yourself out there, because a lot of older Kung Fu masters and Tai Chi masters and practitioners, they really, I think, are just tired, and they just are tired of trying to find good students and tired of not finding students who want the tradition, and therefore they go back and they just retire, so I appreciate that you're still there doing it and fighting and continuing, and I know all of your thousands of followers also are appreciative of the contribution that you are giving to martial arts. So do not think that we won't still keep appreciating all the books and all the knowledge that you're sharing.
Thank you. But the people should understand that when I write book, that's because I can teach myself better. That's
absolutely. Well, it's a win-win. We all win.
Yeah, because Chinese, my master also mentioned one thing. He said, the more you share, the more you teach, the more you know. Yeah, I believe you have the experience for that. The more you share, the more you teach, the more you understand. So sharing is the way of learning.
Absolutely. That's perfect. I think we should end it on that note. So hopefully you'll come back and talk to me again sometime. And
Sure, we'll
congratulations
see.
on all of the wonderful things that have been happening. And I'm going to link everything here so people can get your books if they're interested in learning more about the lungs and all of the technical aspects. And it's just such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Hey, thank you, Mimi. Yeah, thank you.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to Culture Chat and hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please subscribe and rate my podcast. Feel free to leave me suggestions or send an email to mimi@culturechatpodcast.com or follow me on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.